Alright, that is second video of coordinate geometry, and in this video we are going to discuss about gradient. Alright, now first thing, that what does gradient represent? Gradient represents that how much line is tilted, or you can say that it defines the inclination of a line. So we have four lines right? These are the four lines. If you observe the first case, that is an increasing pattern, and you can say that if you have such type of line, that means that the gradient is positive. If you have decline line, that means the gradient is negative. If you have a straight line, that means the gradient is 0, which is defined by m. M is the symbol of gradient. And if you have a vertical line, that means the gradient is infinity. Now what is gradient? Gradient defines how much the line is inclined, right? It only exists for inclined lines. For a straight horizontal line, gradient is 0, and for vertical lines it is infinity. Now the second thing, that how to find gradient. Basically there are two ways to find the value of gradient. Let's suppose that when coordinates are given, alright, when coordinates are given, so you need to apply the working formula, and working formula states that m is equals to y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1, right? And in my previous video we had observed that how we find the value of x1 y1 and x2 y2. These are the coordinates of a point. So when you have a coordinates, you need to apply the working formula. Let's take an example here. Let's suppose you have a point A, the coordinates are 2 and 5, and you have point B, the coordinates are 4, 9. Alright. So if you need to find out the gradient, first you need to label x1, y1 and x2, y2. Once you had labeled the coordinates x1, y1, you need to apply the working formula, that is y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. The value of y2 is 9, the value of y1 is 5, value of x2 is 4, and value of x1 is 2. 9 minus 5, it is 4, and 4 minus 2, it is 2. So the gradient is 2. So whenever you have coordinates, you need to apply the working formula. The next case is when you have an equation and you need to find out the gradient. Now there are certain steps you need to apply when you have an equation. Step number 1, you need to make y the subject of your equation, and once the y is subject, then the coefficient of x is gradient. Alright, the coefficient of x is gradient. Now let's take an example here. Let's say we have an equation 5x minus 2y equals to 3. So I need to find out the gradient here, and the first step is that y should be the subject of this equation. So first I need to make y the subject. For that purpose I will shift 2y on the right side. So it will be 5x is equals to 2y on the right side, it will be positive 2y. And when you shift positive 3 on the left side, it will be negative 3. Alright, now 2 is multiplying with the y on the right side. When you shift it on the left side, it will be 5x minus 3 divided by 2 is equals to y. So if I write the same equation in this way, that 5 upon 2 x minus 3 upon 2 equals to y. Basically what I did is separation of LCM. That 2 is present with 5 and 3, both of them. So I have written it separately. Alright, and the reason of it is the coefficient of x, that is positive 5 upon 2, is your gradient. So whenever you have an equation, the first step is you need to make y the subject, like I did here. And once y is the subject, the coefficient of x, it means whatever written with the variable x, is your gradient, and that is a method.